So this is for Intro to Homicide at Seminole State. My name is Spencer Sherman, and this is going to be my speech. Don't know if finger pistols are appropriate, but we're doing it. In Chapter 9, we learned about children who kill, and I'm going to talk about a subject that was kind of interesting in this whole chapter. The whole chapter kind of covered the range of pre-adolescent, like preteens, or like teenagers, kids under 18 who killed, murdered, whether it was in gang-related issues, in home issues, school shootings, etc. And the one that stood out to me was the Parricide. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly or not. But it's basically the term used for kids killing family members or their parents. Mainly used to define kids killing their parents, but it's now just covers everything. And it was interesting. The reason it intrigued me was because it was different from all the other ones. All the other ones kind of, as the motives may have been the same, whether it be from abuse or social anxieties or different things that fueled this violent acts, most of the time from the studies that were taken, it was like white young males usually were the ones, and an upper middle of class kind of home setting, not versus like other situations where a lot of gang related ones had a range of who did it and such. So yeah, there was actually a part in the article, I'm going to reference the book, of a researcher, I think the full name, Kathleen Heidi, talks about all of it, which was really cool how she kind of broke it down of like the three different types of children that do it. There's the number one of kids who basically live in an abusive household, whether it's physical abuse, emotional abuse, that type of thing, usually are the ones that act out in violent manners of kind of getting revenge by killing their parents. Then second type was the mentally ill. Kind of just stops there. It's kind of self-explanatory. Mental ill kids, disabilities or whatnot. Just don't know the reasoning behind it, can't really study it, just illness, it happens. And then the third was very dangerously antisocial children. Whereas there's an extent to extrovert and introvert, and if you're an introvert, you alone time, all this stuff. But like very antisocial children, I see where it can come from. Of like super kind of hermit crab mentality, and then being that alone, like even studies have shown like the constant alone time really doesn't do good with your brain. That's why, like, going completely rabbit trail, a lot of people who suffer, who've gone to prison or whatnot and spend extensive time in solitary confinement, that alone just kind of like ness inside the brain really can mess up your environment around you and how you perceive the world. So kids who really antisocial, who are kind of in that mindset of isolation, all that stuff, alternate realities can be playing out in their head, and they act out upon that. And so she goes on to kind of like talk more about statistics and research and stuff that they have gotten from the study, how most often, like white males, they're usually killing their father versus mother, which is interesting. But then she goes on to tell a story about the child who stabbed his mother over an argument about a girlfriend. So yeah, very, very interesting part within the book. I did I don't want to say enjoyed because that's kind of a weird wording to say, like, oh, I enjoyed learning about kids killing their parents. It's interesting. That was the most intriguing part for me. The Parricide portion of this chapter. And yeah,